and their bodies had been buried in a wood in Sommo Lombardo, and he could show us where they were.
For 15 days, police and forensic teams scoured the area as Volpe tried to remember where the bodies were hidden. Finally, in May 2004, more than 6 years after they disappeared, the bodies of Fabio Tollis and Chiara Marino were found.
Scarica la bomba.
It was a bombshell.
Apocalisse.
The end of the world.
After 6 years, Michele Tollis was finally able to bury his son. Police began to round up Fabio's friends. And Andrea Volpe began to reveal details of a strange satanic cult. This had gone way beyond listening to death metal music.
Volpe's revelations were quite chilling. The first thing he said was that this sect existed and that it was called the Beasts of Satan. He described incredible, disturbing facts. They would meet in woody areas or in abandoned factories. They would draw the pentacle, the five-pointed star. The leaders of the sect would each stand on a point of the star. They would have a picture of the person to be cursed. They would drip blood on it, and then they would invoke Satan and curse that person.
Other members of the Beasts of Satan sect also began to talk to the police. Fabio's friend Mario had been the group's spiritual link to the forces of darkness.
We believed we were in contact with demons, and we submitted to those demons, which was a completely mad thing to do. We lived in our own world, which had nothing to do with the outside world.
As the facts emerged, much of Italy wondered just how this group of boys could have gone so far off the rails. After all, they looked like millions of young heavy metal fans across the world. Italy is not the only country to have questioned the effects of extreme heavy metal on its kids. In Norway, just like everywhere else, boys fall in love with playing the guitar, fast and furious. Adrian is 13 and has already been playing the electric guitar for 2 years.
If I play some love songs and all that shit, you don't learn so much on the guitar, I think. But if you play this music, you can do everything.
And here too, parents have to learn how to deal with more than just the noise.
He started with the upside down cross. And he had that pentagram, and he had those needles, spikes. And he wanted black clothes, only black.
It was a big change in his life.
This is a Norwegian band, one of my favorites. One of the best Norwegian death metal bands.
So what do they sing about? What kind of stuff?
Gore and, eating people, kill people, all things like that.
Well, what's all this imagery on the front?
I think it's blood. Blood look like someone has been killed or something. I like them, but I don't know, maybe too brutal. I don't know, but the music is cool.
For fans of brutal music, Norway is something of a mecca. Because this is the birthplace of an even more extreme music. Norwegian black metal. Playing at a festival in southern Norway are Mayhem, the high priests and founders of black metal.
We don't pretend to be anybody that we are not. I think that this is what I respect and what I like in other bands and my own idols, music idols, is that they don't fuck up, you know, that they stick to the master plan.
From the start, the master plan was simple.
We're going to do a song now that I think you all know. About blood and Satan and war, cold, carnage!
By the early 90s, the Norwegians decided that death metal was too soft and too commercial. For black metal musicians, the Satanism and the violence were to become part of the lifestyle. One of Mayhem's early singers, aptly named Dead, blew his brains out with a shotgun. Another Mayhem recruit was equally disastrous. Varg Vikernes, also known as Count Grisnacht, played bass on one early album. His career was curtailed when he murdered the band's lead guitarist in a frenzied knife attack. The killings made Mayhem notorious across Norway, and the legend of black metal was born. 13 years later, there are no signs of compromise.
The pickets, I hate the pickets, you know, because like now, today is really hot. We got them, 10 of them in plastic bags, and they start rotting and smelling. But we can't just say, okay, we don't do it anymore, because the fans, they want to have the pickets, you know. I mean, concert with Mayhem without pickets, it's not a Mayhem concert, you know.
Mayhem fans have always taken their music very seriously. Some might say, too seriously. The lyrics of black metal have always been, amongst other things, violently anti-Christian. For almost 100 years, Holmenkollen Chapel had been one of Oslo's most famous landmarks.
It was a very nice and old chapel. It was a chapel royal family used. I think it was a chapel which meant a lot to many other people in Oslo.
On the 24th of August 1992, a young man walked into Holmenkollen Chapel to deliver a blow to conservative Christian Norway. It was the culmination of a spate of unexplained church fires.
Before 1992, there were just one church burning each year, mostly because of lightning. In 1992, we had 9 churches burned, and then we realized it was a problem.
Norwegian police soon found out that black metal musicians were behind the arsons. Several were jailed, including Mayhem bass player Varg Vikernes, who got 24 years for burning down Holmenkollen Chapel and the murder of the band's guitarist. But the burnings didn't stop. In the space of 5 years, more than 40 churches, many in small rural communities, were reduced to ashes.